Hey everybody, SBG here, coming to you from the SBG Craft server. This is episode 21, and I started off this episode building up this wall over at our Quad Witch main base area, and I think it turned out really great. So I'm going to talk real quick about how I built it, the machines I used and stuff like that, and some of the problems that I had while building it. And then we'll go from there. So this right here is a machine that was designed by a fellow Prototech member named Dr. Hugh, and basically how this works is it has two pistons, one up here where you place the falling blocks, and this piston here pushes them along the fence. This uses the mechanic where falling blocks will slide along a fence when pushed by a slime block. So basically it will push it along until it falls through one of the fences, and will fall down and build the wall until it gets up to this machine right there, and it'll just kind of keep moving along and building the wall. So how it works is just there's a little clock here, a little hopper clock, and you turn this on and it starts going like that, and this top one goes so that you limit how fast you drop or place the blocks, and then this one down here obviously shoots them across the fence. And then I also hooked up a dropper to this, so it'll drop me the blocks automatically, and I will link a video down in the description to how this is done. And I kind of went a little more simple than how Dr. Hugh did in his video. I just used a dropper with 9 slots to randomize the blocks that were given to me. He made it super fancy with a bunch of redstone and made a nice gradient, and it's really cool. I just I didn't know how to build it because there wasn't a world download or anything. But this worked fine, and I think it turned out really great. So yeah, this is that part. And then over here, this is actually a contraption that was built by another Prototech member named Katz, and it's kind of like an improved version of Dr. Hugh's design. And with this design, it basically just uses regular fence instead of the fence gates like Dr. Hugh's. So I opted for this because it's a lot easier to place those fences. So anyways, how this works is as this machine shoots the blocks down the fence line and they drop and build up a wall, they'll build up the wall like this, and then it will activate this observer right there, which will move the contraption forward, and those pistons there will push back one fence and then also pull the next fence line so that the next slot can be filled. So yeah, and you just kind of sit there and AFK and shoot all the blocks down, and it builds the wall for you. So while I was doing this, I learned a few things. If I come up here, you can see that the blocks here are really pretty well dispersed and stuff like that, but right here you might notice there's no lime green, and that's because of how I had some of the hoppers on that dropper, and it actually locked one of the hoppers, so I wasn't getting any lime green. But whatever, I fixed it right after that. And then I was running into the problem of not loading this half of the wall, and I tried to get my second account on, but running it on the same computer, and I have terrible internet right now, so I was getting all this streaking. You can see there's a lot of the same blocks and streaks, and so what I did to fix that was I just built another one of these stations right here, where I just had to move up and place the blocks from here, and the flying machine just kept going until it got to the end over here. and that worked out really well. And when I got to the second wall over here, I learned a few things. How I was originally doing it was the dropper was basically like dispensing right next to me, and if I didn't pick it up and place it, it just shot off the edge so that I wouldn't, get a bunch of the same colors and, prevent streaking. But it was actually just throwing a ton on the ground, and that was giving me a bunch of lag. So I ended up making this wall, which went into a pool down here. I dismantled it since then, but it just went into it was just a pool of water that brought all those blocks that weren't used into this chest, and that way it wouldn't sit there and build up a bunch of entities and lag me out. So yeah, I did that, and then this wall went pretty smoothly. And then when I got to the end of it though, I was AFK for a while, and all the blocks, like when I got to the end, the machine stopped, and all the ones I was still shooting down here were just building up. So there was like I don't know, a couple hundred blocks just sitting there, and it gave me a bunch of lag. And luckily I got it in time and shut it off, and I got rid of the entities. So on this next wall, I put an on-off switch for when it was done. So basically it's just a redstone line that went from over here. I dismantled it here too, but basically it was just a redstone torch. When I built this wall right here and a block went right there, it would complete the circuit, and this would go down and stop the machine from running. It would lock up the clock, and it wouldn't keep going. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it turned out really, really well. I had 8 colors to choose from, so I think these go really well with the whole witch and mob farm theme I got going on here. So yeah, it was a great project. Turned out great, and it is a great start to this episode and what I'm going to be doing. So basically I want to get to the next level, the next stage in this server, and before I do that, I'm going to be finishing a bunch of projects and getting ready for the next project, I guess, the next big project. So this is obviously by far the biggest project I've done, and so I need to finish it, and the main things that need to be finished are the aesthetics. So I got the walls done, and next up is the floor. So if I fly over here, I built a little sample of what I'm going to be doing. Basically, I decided that I'm going to do it all by hand. So rather than basically like destroy all the stuff down here at the bottom and build up a automatic floor builder, I'm just going to do it all by hand. So this is what I came up with. It's pretty simple. It's just a square with a cool design in it. At least I think it's cool. And it mostly uses concrete blocks because they are really cheap and easy to obtain. So yeah, I just came up with that, and I'm basically going to make a grid throughout the whole floor of this block, this square, and it's going to go out to about here where these green blocks are, and then there's going to be a circle, and that is representative of the spawning radius for the center AFK block. So on the outside of there I have to come up with a design, but I'll do that later, I guess. I still have to clean up this bedrock here, and let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been cleaning up random chests and stuff around the area. I also have been well, I kind of started cleaning up the area on the outside here. I'm going to have to basically get rid of a lot of this landscape and kind of merge this into it. So, but yeah, it's a lot of busy work I got to do. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start up another time lapse, and I'm going to build up this floor. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it turns out good. Alright, guys, and I'm back. And wow, just about every time I start a project, I really underestimate how much work it's actually going to be. Yeah, this took me like almost a week and 4 recording sessions to get that time lapse done. So I hope you appreciate it. But yeah, this is the finished product, and I love it. I think it looks great. It's exactly what I was going for, kind of like earth tones. Nothing too crazy and crazy colors like this. So I want this to pop out, and my farms, and the walls, and I want the floor just to be kind of like, oh, it's a floor. But it also looks good, a nice uniform design type thing. So I haven't finished the outside yet, where the circle goes to meet the square wall. I think I'm gonna do that in between episodes. Yeah. I also have some uh, like little things to do. So like all the redstone blocks that go in the corner of all these squares, I didn't put those in. Also, like some of these things that are built, like the farms and stuff, I need to like tear out some glass and put these blocks in to kind of just make it, come out of the floor. So, yeah, but yeah, it came out really well. But there is one problem, and let me be right back, and I will show you. Alright, and I'm back, and as you can see, I have a bit of a slimy problem here. Yeah, there's these slimes, and they are spawning everywhere. It's actually super dangerous out here. I was getting mugged when I got back from turning off the mob switch. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about it because there are a lot of slime chunks in this area. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I'm using Light Loader, and one of the mods that I have loaded up on it is Massa's what is it, Mini HUD, and yeah, I think it's the Mini HUD. And basically, it gives you a lot of information, really useful, but it's also pretty vanilla. It doesn't change any of the code like other mods do. This is just a client-side mod, and as you can see up in the corner of my screen, I'm using that for like coordinates and the server TPS and stuff like that. But another thing that you can do with it is you can display the slime chunks in an area. So let's see if I can get these buttons right. H and M. There we go. Oh, right. It needs to know the seed. Like that. And there it is. So, yeah, there's all these slime chunks in this area. And I was thinking I could just put a bunch of glass over it, or maybe some half slabs or carpet so that these guys don't spawn, but I think that'd look really weird. So what I think I'm gonna do instead is just make a farm out of all this. So yeah, let's do that. Just make a giant slime farm. Yeah, so I guess just cue another time lapse. Yeah, music, time lapse. Go. Hey guys, I am back. I just finished up that last slime farm, and how did you guys like the third and final time lapse of this episode? I think it turned out great. I love the look of these farms. They fit in with everything else I got going on here, but they're not like too big and an eyesore. And yeah, I think they're gonna be great. So let's jump down here and take a look at these bad boys. Alright, so just some specs on this. I have a total of 19 slime chunks in this area, so that will be plenty of slime for a single person server. And I got everything to fit into the bottom sub chunk, and each farm has 4 floors, 4 spawning floors. And I used jack-o'-lanterns so that they will have plenty of light in here, so that only slimes will spawn and no other mobs. So yeah, I gotta keep this place, mob proof from the other mobs. So but yeah, all in all, this took me quite a long time. I think in this entire episode I have almost 2 months of work put into it. But most of that is because I am very limited on my, personal schedule because of work and other things. So I can't really record as much as I want, or even get on and play as much as I want. So yeah, it's taken me a long time to record all of this. But I am finally done. I have a ton of work that I'm going to do on these farms in between episodes. I have like item collection and on-off switches and stuff like that to finish up. And obviously, I got to finish the floor. I got a list. I actually wrote it down right over here. I'll take a look at that real quick. So first off, I need to put the iron golems in the cages. Well, I got to build cages. And that way, when the slimes spawn in those chunks, they will, fall off onto the magma floor and die. I need the item collection. I have a bunch of ice streams going around to these other farms, so I just need to tap into those. And I also need to have some on-off switches. That's one reason why I went with the jack-o'-lanterns. I could have used like half slabs for all of it, but with this, I can put dispensers in the floor that will dispense water and turn this farm on and off. So I'll do that in between episodes is not very interesting to see me do that. Also, there are other slime chunks. There's a couple under like all these witch farms and also my main structure here. And if I have the mob switch off, they will start spawning in here. So I need to do something about mob proofing those areas. On-off switch, yeah, I already talked about that. Remove bedrock over here on my map, which I updated, and I think it looks really cool. Right here, you can barely see it, but there's a bunch of bedrock on this one side. I had to extend the perimeter a little bit, and I haven't removed bedrock yet, so I'm gonna have to do that before I can finish the floor. And yeah, right next is finish the floor. So I got to do that like outside, going all the way up to the square of the perimeter. And finally, aesthetics and small details. So I talked about it already, but like right here where you can see down below the floor through this glass. Also, same thing with all these slime farms, you can see down in there. So I got to put something up so that you can't see that. So, but other than that, that is everything that I can really think of in this area. And so hopefully I'll get all this stuff done. I'll show these slime farms in action at the beginning of next episode. But other than that, we are going to be ready to move on to the next mega project on the SBG Craft server. And I am really looking forward to this one. It's going to be really fun and cool. So I will see you next episode, and we'll get started on that. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.